Hey everybody, it's Audrey. I'm here today to share a page for Just Nick Cut File Store. And today I'm using a file called Kaleidoscope, but I really thought it looked like a snowflake. So here's the file, and I thought this would be an awesome file to fill in like all the little circles with patterned paper. So I cut the file out in 3 different sizes, and then I picked out some other papers to go behind my photos, and then I decided instead of filling each little piece in with different colored paper, I was going to fill it in with vellum. So I am just going through with my fine line glue bottle here and adding some glue to the back of this. And this takes a little bit, and you know that it's filled with quick dry glue, which you know if you use it dries very quickly. That's why it's called quick dry. And by the time I glued it on, part of the other end had already dried up a little bit. So anyway, I remembered I had these sticky dot sheets from Thermoweb, and I thought, duh, I should have used these to begin with. All you do is peel back the protective layer, and there's a whole bunch of little tiny sticky dots underneath. Put your shape down, rub it on, and peel it off, and it's covered with adhesive on the back. So that worked much, much better than the glue, and a lot faster. So I put those shapes on the vellum, and then I'm going to go around and fussy cut out around the edge of each shape. And I decided to do this instead of filling in each piece with paper because my background papers, I'm trying to stay away from the white and trying to do some more colorful things. So because I was having, these background papers that were going to be a lot more colorful, I decided to make these cut file shapes a little bit more plain, but I still wanted them to stand out. So that's why I backed them with the vellum. And I love how that looks. You can still make out the color underneath a little bit, but the vellum really makes them pop up a lot more. So I'm just going to put this kind of block of paper on. I wanted it to be kind of wonky there and kind of crooked. And I really love this background paper, so I just traced my square so that I could cut a section of this out in case I ever want to use it on another page. So I'm going to glue my photo down over this, or not, I'm sorry, not my photo, this square of paper. And then I thought that to kind of help blend this in a little bit more, I wanted to soften this, and especially the edges. So I'm going to go around with some gesso and just my fingers and kind of blend some gesso over the surface. And I think it helps blend that square into the background to kind of make them look more cohesive instead of the background square just kind of sticking off the background and standing out a lot more. So this really softens it up, but you can still see the pink and the color of the little shapes there in the background paper. I'm just going through with a spoon and kind of scraping off some extra paint. I had a little too much on there, and it was kind of getting collected around the edges, the creases of the paper. So I dry that off and then decide I want to add a little bit of color. So I just kind of did a little test here with this mist, and this is a glimmer mist, and it's called Fall Breeze, and it has gold shimmer in it. And it is so pretty. When I was really actually pleasantly surprised because I didn't know the gold would stand out that much. I know you can't see it in the video. You might be able to see it in the close-up a little bit, but on the right there a little bit, you can see there's a tiny bit of gold, and there's some shimmer that collected over there, kind of on the block of pink paper, and it's really, really pretty. So I loved how that looked. So I'm just going to go through, and then I added a little bit of this Mr. Huey's. Oh my gosh, what is this called? I think it's called Bonnie Blue, Bonnie Blue. And then just a few splatters, and I'm going to dab that off a little bit, and that's that. So that process really helped that square blend into the background, but also provided a little bit more, I think, kind of solid background for my photos to stand off against, and those kaleidoscope shapes as well. So now I'm going to just go through and start layering my photos and add some paper layers behind my different photos. I'm first going to glue them all to this kind of strip of blue paper. And then I'm going to cut this down to size and just cut around some snippets on some of the pieces I don't want showing. I spend a lot of time going through and rearranging those shapes just a tiny bit, like a centimeter here and there, and just that makes such a world of difference to me when I just move it just a little bit, or should I overlap it, or should it be under the photo. So I do this a lot, just kind of playing around with these shapes. So I am just looking for some other papers that I thought I'd want to layer behind this photo, and I decided to go with this kind of craft color. I'm glad I printed my photos in black and white for this page because the background is kind of busy and then these layers get kind of busy. So having the black and white photos, I think, allows you to play with the colors of your papers a lot more, and not have to worry about, you know, being matchy with your photos and things like that. So I think using black and white photos is so much easier. I wasn't happy with that strip I had right there. The scale of the pattern was too close to the scale of the background paper, and it was kind of throwing me off a little bit, so I kind of decided to put that to the side. And I just found a kind of a blue, plain blue. Oh, I had a little helper there. That was she's homesick from school today, of course. So she was trying to find something to do while mommy, she was supposed to be laying on the couch, but you know, she had to keep a little busy. Okay, so I added all those layers together, and I'm trying to figure out what else am I going to add to this page. So I am using the Snow and Cocoa collection from Crate Paper, and I had already gone through the ephemera, the die cut pack, and picked out a couple things, some phrases and just some of these clear acetate things, and some tags and other things, and just trying to figure out what I'm going to use. And I really wanted the cut file to stand out, and so but that tag was really pretty, but it just wasn't pointing the right direction for me. I wish it was pointing the other direction. So I decided not to use that. I think I'm going to go with this little clear piece that says "Oh So Cold." So let me tell you about my photos quick. So last year I saw a friend post this on Facebook that she makes snow ice cream with her kids, and I had never heard of that before, so I looked it up. And basically you just take snow, or you put a bowl out and collect snow, and you mix it with heavy cream and sugar, and the kids stir it up, and it gets kind of creamy like ice cream, and you eat it. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but it did, and actually it was pretty good. I just had to remind them they don't go out and like scoop snow off the yard. We have to collect it. So yeah, so we made some snow cream. Okay, so I fiddle around for a while. I turn the camera off because when I get stuck and, you know, I just play around with this stuff forever, it just gets really frustrating, and then I just want to walk away and then just come back to it. But sometimes I just make myself push through it. So I pulled out a few other things that I thought I would work. I liked the little bit of black accents to kind of match that phrase that said "Oh so cold." So I thought about bringing a little bit of black in here and there. I found another tag that I thought would work, but again, I just thought it was taking away from the die cut shapes, and I continued to struggle with putting these little bits on. So finally, I decided to fussy cut all of these snowflakes out of one of the pattern papers, and that is exactly what I needed. When I put the first one on, I thought, oh my gosh, I just needed some color, and I needed a big element on the page, a colorful element, to help tie this all together. So I cut out three whole snowflakes and one kind of half of a snowflake. And I took some of these snowflake stickers off the sticker sheet you can see there to the right, and I put those on. They're kind of a mint green. And then I found another tag that's to the left of my photos, and that tag was also in the die cut pack, and that's kind of a minty green as well. And then the little birdie there is from the chipboard pack. So I had played around for a while looking for just the right embellishments and where I was going to put them, and I was happy that I decided to cut out those snowflakes. They took a while to fussy cut out, but they were worth it. So my title was going to be Snow Cream, and when I was thinking of what stickers to use for this title, I remembered these stickers I have. They don't go with this collection. Actually, I'm not sure. They might go with Maggie Holmes Gather, I think. Actually, I'm not sure which collection they go with, but they kind of look snowy a little bit with the little black dots. But because the background paper, again, was kind of busy, I put this on here, and I hand cut out the letters for the word cream, and I was going to outline them with a black pen. But I'm not happy with how that turns out. It was just way too busy. for the background. So here I'm just gonna, I love the idea of hand cutting out letters and outlining them with a pen and using patterned paper or maybe even stitching around the edges to make them stand out a little bit more, but it just wasn't working for this page. So I switched it all up. All right, so I scrapped that title idea, and instead I go back to adding a little bit more embellishments just to see, you know, if that was exactly where I wanted to put my title, or perhaps if I could squeeze it in somewhere else. So I'm working with some flair. This is from a shop called Cuts to Love, and I pulled out a couple different pieces that fit in with my theme there. And in this crepe paper line, there's a paper with like 3x4 cards, and one of them had these little phrases that said lots and lots of fluffy snow. So I cut that out. You can see it there on the right, and I cut it out of the middle and saved the edges because I could use that piece to add behind a photo somewhere. So yeah, I saved that. So I put those up in the top right because I felt that the top right needed some, oh my God, look at my hair. It needed some words up there because I had those words that were underneath the photo and they were a little bold. All right, I am going to start gluing things down. I've already glued down the snowflakes and the die cuts, the cuts I cut on my machine. And I didn't glue it down exactly right, and I think I ended up picking it up again at least 1 or 2 more times. I'm going to stick that tag under there. And now I think the rest is pretty much just me adding things in kind of where I had them. I don't really add too much more to the page besides my title. I decided to go back to the sticky dots again to use for this clear acetate piece. When you use this, you can see the dots a little bit, but when it's over a patterned paper like this, they're very difficult to see, but they do make it stick very, very well. So I love those sticky dot sheets. I brought in a little bit more pink with that little phrase sticker. Gonna pop these bigger snowflakes off the page with some pop dots, some foamed dots. And the same thing with these little strips, gonna pop those off as well. So I get scared sometimes using patterned papers for the background. Well, especially busy ones like this one, but I think by adding the gesso and using the packaging technique with the mists over the background really helps provide a spot for your photos and kind of blurs out the background a little bit more. So I think that worked well and helped make the photo stand out. So I'm going to glue that flare down with some 3D dots, which are glue dots. Put that guy on, and then that's pretty much it, I think. Oh, I do go through and add, I'm not sure if I put this in the video or not. I think I do, actually. I forgot to add a spot specifically for my journaling. So I had to go through and find something where I could write my journaling on it. So I was looking for another tag or something else, and then where was I going to put it? So that's in the back of my mind right now. I wanted to add, again, the words snow cream on there. So I found on the sticker sheet the word snow in some little round stickers. So I put that right underneath the oh so cold. And adding some twine to my tag. That twine, by the way, has some gold thread in it. It's really pretty. And pulling out some old Lily Bee stickers. Oh my gosh, these are some of my favorite alphas. They're the perfect small alpha. And I have these in a whole bunch of different colors and a super cute font too. So I put the word cream on there. And I decided to pull out some labels to add my journaling. And then I also added a label in the top underneath my right photo there that I'm going to put the date on. Oh, I also added a chipboard frame that came from the chipboard sheet. I forgot to mention that. I'm sure I showed it, but it came from the chipboard sheet, and I just framed one of the photos. And that's it. I did add a little bit of stitching here and there with some teal thread. And then you can see that beautiful cut file backed with vellum, which I love, love, love doing that technique. Really helps make it nice and soft. So thank you so much for watching. Go check out all the beautiful December files, cut files in the Just Nick store, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one.